AITA for telling my sister she is really privileged for a mom. Story 1. My sister is pretty used to having a good life. To be fair, she has worked hard for it. We are from a working-class family, and she is the only person with a bachelor's, but she also expects a lot too. Specifically, she constantly complains about being tired. She has an 8-year-old and 5-year-old and complained about how tiring it is to be a parent. She works as an accountant and her husband is a partner at their firm, so she only needed to work part-time while the kids were young. Now that they are in grad school, her husband does drop off for school so she can go to the gym. They also have cleaners weekly. They also hire a nanny once a week so they can have a night out alone. They are always going on ski holidays and trips. When she was pregnant, she got a month off work before the baby was born and 5 to 7 months with each child. I've had to work right after giving birth. My ex and I barely make enough to make ends meet, and now I'm a single parent of my son. My ex now works for cash and doesn't declare most of his earnings, so I'm screwed. Most of my money is used to put him in daycare, and I'm exhausted all the time. I complain too, but it gets on my nerves when she complains back. It's like a millionaire complaining about being broke next to a college student. I lost my temper when I called her and she asked how I was, and I said I was really tired, and she said she was so tired too. I told her it's not the same. She's the most privileged mom I know, and she really needs to know who she is complaining to. She hung up on me and told me I was being a bitch over text, and I guess I was, but I'm sick and tired about her complaining. It's pretty tone deaf. Our advice. It sounds like you're feeling a lot of frustration, and it's understandable given the contrasting challenges you and your sister are facing. It's tough when someone seems unaware of their privilege, especially when they complain about issues that are much less severe than what others are dealing with. However, telling your sister she is privileged in the heat of the moment might have come off as confrontational and hurtful, leading to the negative response you received. It's natural to want to express your feelings, but approaching it with empathy and openness can be more effective. Here are some suggestions on how to navigate this situation going forward. Express your feelings calmly. Wait until you're feeling less angry before reaching out to your sister. Explain how her complaints affect you and why you feel they are insensitive given your circumstances. Use I statements to express your feelings rather than accusing her. Acknowledge her struggles too while acknowledging her privilege. It's also important to recognize that parenting is challenging regardless of one's circumstances. Acknowledge her efforts as a parent while also explaining how her complaints can be difficult for you to hear. Set boundaries for conversations. Let your sister know that you're open to discussing parenting challenges but prefer to avoid comparing hardships given your different circumstances. This can help create a more supportive dialogue between you both. Offer solutions or support if appropriate. Offer practical help or suggestions that might benefit her or even you both. This could include resources for managing fatigue or childcare options. Apologize for the delivery. Reflect on the way you communicated your feelings initially. Apologize for any hurtful words and explain that you were expressing frustration, not attacking her personally. Remember, it's okay to set boundaries around conversations that feel hurtful to you, but approaching these discussions with empathy and understanding can lead to more constructive outcomes. First comment. AITA, and a jealous one at that. Your sister is not privileged. She works as an accountant. You have any idea how much f***ing work that is? I challenge anyone to tell me an accountant has an easy job, because I guarantee, based on your post and your potential psyche, you would have a meltdown during a month-end closing period. Having cleaners and nannies isn't a privilege. It's a service provided by someone that your sister and her husband pay money for. That's not privilege, that's a transaction. And getting off from work after having birth is a standard practice in many companies across the United States. I work for a huge publicly traded company. We give mothers, fathers 3 months of paid leave. That's not privilege, that's called benefits. Benefits earned from providing a service for compensation. Again, a transaction. It sucks that you had to work right after giving birth, but no offense, that's your problem. Sounds like your job sucks. Get another one if you're so unhappy with it. It sounds like you have some envy for your sister that you need to work out. But calling her privileged was simply uncalled for. She doesn't sound spoiled, she sounds like a regular person who has nice things because her and her husband work for it. After all, that's the American dream. Second comment. AITA, but I do think we can all take a lesson from this when it comes to venting. We need support when we're stressed, but we should also be aware of who we are venting to, how often, and how they might feel about it. I'm chronically ill, house bed-bound, and have all the free time in the world. I enjoy supporting my friends as much as I am able, but sometimes it can really hurt to have my friends vent about circumstances that sound like heaven to me. We can all benefit by being a bit more conscious of the person on the receiving end of our complaints and choosing the right audience for our complaining. When the pandemic started, we kept saying we're all in this together, but it became pretty clear that while yes, we all might be in the same storm, We aren't all in the same boat. Just something to think about. So yes, you were Tay because of how you responded to your sister, but I can see why you felt the way you did. Feelings don't make you Tay, but how you communicate them can. Story 2. AITA for banning my parents from a family event because they don't like my brother's wife? Not the a-hole. So my 30th little brother is 23. I have another brother that's 20, but this is about the 23-year-old who I will call Blake. A few months ago, Blake eloped with his girlfriend Shay, 19F. Our parents and my 3 sisters, Mary 22F, B at 27F, and Sarah 25F, were livid, like unusually angry. I was a little confused, but I spoke to him, and to me it seemed like he and his girlfriend loved each other very much and just made the rash decision to elope in Vegas. We live about 3 hours from Vegas, so it's a popular day trip destination, so they were there for the day and eloped. Like, yeah, it was a little silly, but I don't understand why they're so angry about it. Blake and Shay didn't even tell anyone about their marriage until 2 months later. Blake and Shay are a very wholesome and, dare I say, perfect couple. They very obviously love each other, live together and split the bills, both study very good degrees and have 2 cats. I've always said you can't put a timeline on life. If they want to do marriage earlier than usually, who cares? My parents have made a point to not invite Shay to any family events since. They'll call up Blake and say, "Don't bring your girlfriend." They refuse to acknowledge the marriage. Blake came the first 2 times they did this but left very early, and he's always politely declined all invitations since then. I've tried to tell my parents that they are pushing Blake away, and soon they can expect to never hear from him again, but they don't seem to care. They take every opportunity to insult Shay, even though they used to love her before the elopement. But it's my son's birthday soon, and I'm planning a big party. I sent the guest list in a family GC, and my parents saw that Shay was invited. They demanded that she's taken off, but I refused. They were acting in a way that made me suspect they were going to make a scene there, so I banned them. I don't want them to isolate my younger brother, and he hasn't been to any family events since he got married besides the 2 he left early. They are infuriated. They are threatening to show up anyway and think I have no right to ban them for someone who isn't part of the family. My sisters and youngest brother think I am overreacting, and I could have instead warned them to behave and told them they would be removed if they couldn't do so. They think the ban is nuclear. My parents are demanding an invite and an apology. AITA? Our advice. Based on your description, you are definitely not the asshole NTA for standing up for your brother and his wife in this situation. It's clear that your parents are being unreasonable and disrespectful towards Blake and Shay's marriage, which is causing unnecessary tension within the family. Here's why your actions are justified. Supporting your brother's marriage, you're doing the right thing by including Shay in family events and supporting Blake's decision to marry her. Their marriage should be respected by your parents, and excluding Shay from family gatherings is hurtful and unjustified. Protecting family unity by banning your parents from the event, you're actually protecting family unity. Allowing your parents to attend and potentially cause drama or disrespect Blake and Shay would only further strain relationships within the family. Standing firm against disrespect, your parents' behavior towards Shay is disrespectful and could eventually lead to alienating Blake from the family. It's important to set boundaries and make it clear that such behavior is unacceptable. Prioritizing brother's happiness, your priority should be your brother's happiness and well-being. If he feels more comfortable and respected with Shay by his side, then that should be honored by the family. Your siblings may have different perspectives, but it's important to remember that family dynamics can be complex. Your decision to ban your parents was a protective measure aimed at ensuring a positive and inclusive environment for your brother and his wife. It might be helpful to have a calm conversation with your siblings to explain your reasoning and express your concerns about the impact of your parents' behavior on Blake and Shay. In summary, you're not the asshole for taking a stand to support your brother and his wife. Your actions are driven by a desire to foster family harmony and respect for their marriage. First comment. Tay, you're absolutely doing the right thing. In simplest of strokes, I was Shay. My husband froze out his parents for 2 years until they realized he wasn't F-king around, and I was his family as far as he was concerned. None of his siblings supported him. I found out literally 16 years later it was BC. His parents had told lies about me, and they were very angry with them for manipulating them and making them miss out on that time with their brother. His parents love me now and I love them, but it was incredibly hard, and had my husband been a lesser man, that would have been a bridge that remained burned. Your support means the world to him, especially since I can tell you for a fact he feels like he's alone, and it's him and Shay V's the world. Don't buckle. Wow. Second comment. D. NTA. Allowing them to come but telling them to behave honestly won't work. They will definitely cause a scene, and then your child's party will be ruined. It's not fair to him. Your siblings are wrong to expect your brother to put up with their emotional ABSA and subject his wife to verbal ABSA and hostility. Also, your parents are appeased by getting an invitation. Also, your parents need to grow up. Your brother is putting Shay first as a partner should do, and will most likely end up going NC with your parents. They will then miss out on his children and other major milestones for him. I mean, what's done is done, and all your parents are doing is driving a wedge in their relationship with him. Your brother obviously has made his decision and loves Shay. He's not going to end his marriage all because your parents are being AHS. I'm glad you are including him and making sure he knows he has your support, and that he Shay are still welcome in your home.